The Empire Windrush brings to Britain 500 Jamaicans. Many are ex-servicemen who know England. They served this country well. In Jamaica, they couldn't find work. Discouraged but full of hope, they sailed for Britain, citizens of the British Empire coming to the mother country with good intent. Prodded by public opinion, the Colonial Office gives them a more cordial reception than was at first envisaged. Many are to be found jobs.
Well, the reality turned out to be more complicated. The first arrivals from Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago and other Caribbean islands landed in England 70 years ago. They're known as the Windrush Generation, a reference to the ship the Empire Windrush that brought the first workers to Britain in 1948. They came as a response to labour shortages in the UK, and under the 1971 Immigration Act, all Commonwealth citizens already living in the UK were given indefinite leave to remain. But now many of those who arrived from the Commonwealth decades ago as children have been told they're here illegally. The Home Office didn't keep a record of those granted leave to remain or issue any paperwork confirming that, meaning it's difficult for people to now prove they're in the UK legally. Recent changes to immigration law require people to have that documentation to work, rent a property or access benefits, including healthcare. Well, today, the Home Secretary, Amber Rudd, made a statement to the Commons about the situation and apologised for the treatment of the Windrush Generation, saying it was wrong and appalling that some face deportation. She also announced the creation of a task force to help those affected.
Today I am announcing a new dedicated team that will be set up to help these people evidence their right to be here and to access the necessary services. This team will help these applicants demonstrate they are entitled to live in the UK and will be tasked with resolving cases within 2 weeks when the evidence has been provided. Of course, no one should be left out of pocket as they go through this process. And so, given the uniqueness of the situation this group find themselves in, I intend to assure that this group will not pay for this documentation.
The roots of the problem lie in the changes to immigration law in 2012. Tony Smith worked in the Home Office for more than 40 years, leaving in 2013.
What changed in 2012 was the introduction of was known as the hostile environment. I think it's now known as the compliant environment. But what that means, in effect, is that people wanting to work or rent property or study in the UK need to produce documents to their employer or their landlord, to demonstrate that they've got legal permission to remain in the United Kingdom. And some people have been here a long time and never got a document like that. And,
how is that possible?
We never had a requirement, for a UK residence card for non-British citizens, a bit like the green card system in America. We don't have one of those. We only started introducing what's known as the biometric residence permit in 2008, and I was regional director in UK Border Agency at that time. And I recall a policy discussion about whether this ought to be retrospective to everybody, really, who lived here who wasn't British. And you will recall also at that time there was debate about a national identity card for British citizens and a proper national identity register. But neither of those things happened. When the hostile environment was introduced, people were coming in and looking for work and being asked for all sorts of documents by employers, legitimately so, because that's the law, and weren't able to produce them. And then sort of went along to the Home Office to say, well, look, can you give me something to show that I am actually allowed to be here? And it seems that in some of these cases, people have gone to the Home Office, and because they haven't been able to show lawful residence, there's been a notice suggesting that they shouldn't be here at all. And I think that's where things have gone wrong.
So, in a sense, it's unintended consequences. I mean, how long after that law came into force in 2012 did these cases begin to emerge?
Well, it's only recently, but I do know from my experiences in immigration enforcement that there's a huge black market in forged and falsified documents. The idea is to make it hard for people who are here illegally to get work or to get somewhere to stay. That was the policy intent. The problem is that hasn't been backed up by a proper identity management strategy, which can help people show, those people that are here lawfully, that they actually are here lawfully. And so, you've got this policy dilemma between the hostile environment on the one hand and the lack of an identity management programme on the other hand.
Are you surprised that the Home Office has behaved with such a tin ear to a problem that is essentially a problem of its own creation? This idea, I think Amber Rudd talked about greater concern over process rather than people today.
I think they've been caught by surprise by this scenario. I don't think it was foreseen, not by many anyway. But I was always worried myself about this lack of ability to, if you live here and you've lived here for the best part of your life, how on earth can you be threatened with a deportation notice? Why would you not have the opportunity to have some kind of document or identity card, which many countries issue, which would give you peace of mind?
Tony Smith. Well,